So apparently in Canada now, if you've been charged with kidnapping someone at gunpoint, the courts might just shrug and say, "See you later, don't forget your bail conditions." I know, sounds like a rejected SNL sketch, but buckle up because this is actually happening, and it's about to get way more absurd than you think. Welcome back to Canadian Insights, where we dig into the stories that make you go, wait, what? And today we're talking about something that should have every Canadian doing a double take at their morning Tim Hortons. We're diving into how our justice system has apparently decided that serious crimes deserve participation trophies instead of actual consequences. And before you think I'm exaggerating, just wait until you hear what's been going down in courtrooms from coast to coast to coast. Let's start with the elephant in the room, or should I say, the criminal walking free in the room. Under current policies that have been rolled out during the Trudeau era, people charged with sexual assault, kidnapping with a firearm, and possession of illegal firearms are getting bail. Not sometimes. Not rarely. We're talking about a system where catch and release isn't just a fishing technique anymore, it's apparently our justice strategy. You know things have gone sideways when career criminals have better revolving door access than your local shopping mall. And here's where it gets even spicier. Bill C75, passed in 2019, fundamentally changed how bail works in Canada. The idea was to reduce the number of people held in pretrial detention. Noble goal, right? Except nobody seemed to ask, hey, what if we're letting out people who are, actually dangerous? It's like deciding to solve traffic congestion by just removing all the traffic lights. Sure, cars move faster, but you've also created a demolition derby. The bail system has become so permissive that police officers, the people who actually arrest these folks, are watching them walk free before the paperwork is even done. Imagine spending hours building a case, making an arrest, filling out forms, only to see the same person back on the street before you've even finished your shift. It's like being a goalie where every save gets reversed. Demoralizing doesn't even begin to cover it. But wait, there's more, because apparently we're not done revolutionizing justice yet. Enter the Gladue principles. Now, these were originally designed with good intentions, meant to address the overrepresentation of Indigenous peoples in Canada's prison system. A legitimate issue that deserves attention. But here's where good intentions meet disastrous implementation. Courts are now required to consider an offender's Indigenous heritage as a mitigating factor during sentencing. Sounds reasonable until you realize this is being applied to repeat violent offenders, including sexual predators. Let me paint you a picture. We're talking about situations where someone with multiple convictions for violent sexual offenses is getting a reduced sentence not because they've shown remorse, not because they've rehabilitated, but because of their race. Read that again. Sentencing based on race. If that sentence makes you uncomfortable, good, it should, because we're supposed to have moved past that as a society. Justice is supposed to be blind, not color-coded with a discount system. The logic here is more twisted than a pretzel factory. We're essentially saying that victims of violent crime deserve less justice depending on who commits the crime against them. Tell me how that makes sense to a sexual assault survivor. Sorry your attacker got a lighter sentence, but don't worry, it's progressive. That's not progress, that's moral bankruptcy dressed up in fancy academic language. And it gets better, or worse, depending on your tolerance for absurdity. The cumulative effect of these policies means we've created a justice system that seems more concerned with the feelings of criminals than the safety of communities. Public safety has taken a backseat to social experimentation, and Canadians are paying the price. Crime rates in major cities are climbing faster than housing prices, which is really saying something in this economy. Pierre Poilievre and other critics have been sounding the alarm on this for years, pointing out that these aren't just policy disagreements, they're public safety emergencies. But somehow the conversation always gets derailed into accusations of being tough on crime, like that's a bad thing. When did wanting consequences for kidnapping someone at gunpoint become controversial? It's like we've entered an alternate universe where common sense is the radical position. The real kicker is that these policies don't even achieve their stated goals. Indigenous incarceration rates haven't significantly dropped, communities aren't safer, and victims feel abandoned by a system that's supposed to protect them. So we've managed to create a lose-lose-lose situation. That takes talent, the wrong kind of talent, but talent nonetheless. What's particularly frustrating is how disconnected these policies are from what actual Canadians want. Poll after poll shows that people across the political spectrum think the justice system has gone too soft. But somehow Ottawa keeps doubling down, like a gambler who's convinced the next hand will turn it all around. Spoiler alert, it won't. So here we are, folks. A justice system where serious violent offenders are getting bail like it's a loyalty rewards program and sentences are being adjusted based on race, all while politicians pat themselves on the back for being progressive. If this is progress, I'd hate to see what regression looks like. Actually, wait, I think we're already there. Look, the conversation about justice reform is important. Indigenous overrepresentation in prisons is a real problem that deserves real solutions. But the solution can't be let's just punish violent crime less, because that's not solving anything, it's just creating new victims while ignoring the old ones. We can walk and chew gum at the same time. We can address systemic issues and keep violent offenders off the streets. Crazy concept, I know. If this video made you feel literally anything, frustration, anger, confusion, the desperate need for a stiff drink, smash that like button and subscribe to Canadian Insights because we're posting videos throughout the day breaking down the stories that matter. Drop a comment below telling me what you think about Canada's justice system, and if you've been affected by these policies, I want to hear your story. Share this video with someone who still thinks everything's fine, because clearly, we need to have this conversation as a country. And hey, if you're a lawmaker watching this, maybe, just maybe, consider that the average Canadian thinks public safety should be slightly higher on the priority list than virtue signaling. Just a thought. I'll see you in the next video. Stay safe out there, because apparently our justice system won't do it for you.